All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Backcountry BSing.
If you've never seen any of these before, this is kind of a series we've got going where we meet and talk to other YouTubers, specifically backpacking YouTubers, more like a podcast style thing. No rules.
It's like Vegas.
No rules. We just BS around. So today we've got Subaru Josh with us. Big thanks for coming out and BSing with us. There we go. Oh yeah, you got the hat on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, are we gonna get free Subaru stuff from Subaru?
Yeah.
now?
You might. I might have some stuff in my car.
But he's here joining us. Big thanks.
Yeah.
So Josh,
just as we start off every single one, how did you get started in backpacking?
in backpacking, yeah.
So let me think. 5 years ago, I had some friends move to Wyoming, and they kept posting pictures of the mountains and stuff, and then backpacking. And I've always been into hiking, but I've never really, and it's only been the last couple of years I've been into backpacking. And they kept posting pictures. I'm like, man, I'd love to go out there and do some hiking. And then, like 4 years ago, it'll be in like winter. About 4 years ago, my buddy texted me. He's like, hey, you should come out next summer and come backpacking. I'm like, we'll see. And then it kind of progressed from there, and then I was like, yeah, I want to come out, because originally I was supposed to go to like Florida to go with my brother and stuff. Well, that got canceled, and my friend's like, come out to Wyoming. I'm like, okay. So when I started getting all my gear, I started like, well, I didn't know anything about backpacking.
Did you just like walk into REI like everybody else and just like slide the cash across the table and just be like, pack, sleeping bag, sleeping pad.
I gotta go to Wyoming.
I gotta go to Wyoming.
Well, actually, a funny story. My first REI experience was terrible, because I went in there, I saved up all this money. I had like $1,000 cash on me. I was gonna go buy my pack, my pad, sleeping bag, everything. Went in there and went to the pack section to get fitted. For an hour I stood there, nobody came and helped me.
Really?
I was so mad. I was like I came here with all this money, and I actually ended up sending them an email afterwards, but I left with a black diamond headlamp and I think a can of propane, little canister.
That's what
propane.
you were taking out to Wyoming?
Pretty much, yeah, but I was just gonna bushcraft.
Out there with that?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But then after that, I went up to a place up in Ann Arbor, bought some of my gear. I got my first pack, my sleeping bag up there, and then I ordered some other stuff online, and so I kind of got all my gear ready. And I didn't really know anybody that was into backpacking, so I didn't really watch. The only YouTuber I really started watching was Syntax.
Okay.
And so I watched him, and then there's another one, I can't remember, it's been a long time, but I started watching their videos and kind of like getting ideas of what I wanted to get. And then I got all my stuff around, did a little bit of training, like I hiked like once before the trip, and I went out there, and it was like a huge awakening of like, okay, my pack's 45 pounds, I got all this stuff. And Wyoming, we did a 3-day backpacking trip in the Wind River Range, and it was amazing. Like probably my favorite backpacking trip I've done so far. It was awesome, except for the first night in the backcountry. We're like camped at like 10,000 feet, and this huge lightning storm comes in, and I'm in grizzly country. It's lightning. It's my first backpacking trip.
You just threw yourself into the deep end.
Oh yeah, I had a panic attack on the side of the mountain. It was great. But then that's kind of like how everything started. It was just that my friend asked me to get into backpacking, and
when was, like, how many years ago was that?
that would have been 2015. So I went
so you've been
to
doing
Wyoming, in 2015.
Yeah, we've been to Wyoming too, but we've been to Bighorn.
We did the Bighorn Mountains. We didn't do that's eastern Wyoming. We didn't do the winds. No.
I mean, to be honest, like everybody's putting out videos right now on like, what do they call it, the Cirque du Towers?
Oh, Cirque of the Towers. That's where I went.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it looks.
That's the big
it looks
spot.
just fantastic.
Yeah.
It is.
So.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, unlike Tim Watson, have you ever backpacked in Ohio?
Nope.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Because honestly, before
Are you from Ohio?
I am.
Okay.
I was born and raised.
In Finley?
Yep.
Okay.
Before I met Tim,
I can't believe this.
yeah,
Dirty little secret. Tim Watson gang.
we have a philosophy, kind of, and before I met Tim, I didn't really have anybody to backpack with, and I'm not much of a solo backpacker.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to being in the backcountry. I mean, besides like the fact that you're alone in the wilderness, it gets boring when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
I don't even like day hiking by myself. But I had like all these ideas. I wanted to hike at the Manistee River Trail in Michigan, and then I wanted to go to Red River Gorge because I'd seen Adventure Archives videos and stuff. But none of the trails in Ohio really like were calling my name. And our philosophy and me and Tim kind of agree on this, is if we're going to take a day off of work or 2 days off of work, and we're going to spend those backpacking, we're going to go somewhere cool.
Yeah.
So we've done the Smokies, Pictured Rocks Trail, Dolly Sods. We've been to New York in the Letchworth State Park. And so if I'm going to take time off work, I want to make it worth the while.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've never backpacked in Ohio.
Well, the Ohio trails you can kind of just shoot down there for the weekend or something. But I get it. I mean, you guys are close to Michigan too, which is awesome. So.
How did you meet Tim?
I took my concealed carry class through him 5 years ago, I think. And nothing really, I mean, we kind of like were acquaintances. And then, like Tim said, I invited him to go hiking with us in Hocking Hills. We were mutual friends with a guy here in Findlay, and so I invited Tim, and my buddy bailed. So it was just me and him. I'm like, great, how awkward is this going to be? A guy I've hung out with 1 or 2 times maybe. And so on the drive down, we talked about weight loss, because we both kind of lost weight around the same time, and The Office. And so
nice.
we hit it off immediately. And so I remember we talked about The Office for like an hour on the way down there, and then we hiked around, and then that night he texted me like an hour after we get back home. He's like, I bought a pack, I bought a tent, I bought a sleeping bag, because I want to do the Appalachian Trail. I was like, well, let's slow down a little bit.
Quit your jobs.
Yeah.
Go on the AT right away.
But yeah, that's how I met Tim. It was kind of I wouldn't say a fluke, but like we probably never would have become friends had I not invited him to go hiking, and he probably wouldn't be famous if it weren't for me. I mean, I take all the credit, but he's done all the work.
Well, we found that he gives you romantic advice in return.
Yes, he does.
We're gonna have Tim laughing in the background. This is great. How much weight did you lose?
60 pounds.
60 pounds.
Yep.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
God, that's a lot.
I'm short.
No, I'm putting it in perspective, because 60
Yeah.
pounds on you is way more impressive than 60 pounds on us.
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
Low carb. So
Nice.
I was actually I was playing paintball. That was my big hobby back in the day, and I remember just like I couldn't keep up with my friends. I would play like one game, and I would just be completely winded. And I remember going to my buddy's house after playing, and I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, I look disgusting. And I'm like, and me and my friend kind of jokingly made like this like bet, like, okay, my buddy wanted to lose like 15 pounds. Well, I want to lose 60, and just messing around. And this was like April of 2013. And so then I kind of did some research and found that low carb was the easiest way to do it. So then I'm like, okay, well, I made small goals, like, okay, by July I want to be, down, or by July 4th I want to be down 15 pounds or whatever. And so I kind of made these small goals. My ultimate goal was, by New Year's, I wanted to be at my high school weight, which was like 156 pounds or something like that. So when I started, I was 212 or something like that. I don't remember the exact weight, but then I remember weighing myself on Christmas Eve, and I was 156.
Wow.
I was like,
nice.
holy crap, I actually did this.
Did you go like full keto? Or did you shoot for it?
See, I wasn't really aware of keto back then, and so I tried like low calorie, and it just didn't really work for me. But low carb was super easy, because I just tried to stay under 50 carbs a day.
You went for 50 grams, like that was your
50
goal?
grams of carbs a day, and it was definitely hard.
That's low, man.
I ate a lot of chicken and a lot of eggs, so I hate chicken and eggs now, kind of. Like every now and again, it's like, man, I just don't feel like eating that again.
This is cool.
Were you exercising too?
Kind of. I did a little bit of running, but other than that, like, not really. And I think that's kind of part of the downfall of that diet was after I lost all the weight, I had like no muscle. And I mean, I still don't have a whole lot of muscle, but from running and hiking, I've definitely gotten a little stronger.
Yeah.
And so even though I had lost all the weight, I wasn't like super strong. And so, yeah.
Are you still doing this? Like, are you still like watching carbs, like, specifically?
I wouldn't.
Or how are you keeping it? Because keeping it off is just as hard, if not harder.
So you lost it in 2013.
Yep.
So you've had it off for 5 years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's really impressive.
That's life change. So you've changed your life.
Pretty much. I've made a huge lifestyle change. I look back to what I used to eat back then. I'd go get ice cream. I get shakes every day after work or whatever. I eat at McDonald's every day. After every paintball trip, we'd stop and I'd get like 2 cheeseburgers and a large fry and a shake. And I was lazy. I'd go home, and I was really big into the whole like tactical gun scene for a while, and I'd go watch YouTube videos for hours a day or play video games. And then kind of after I lost all the weight, and then it was funny because like I was never like super active, and I wouldn't say I'm like super active now, but I feel like as I've matured more and realized like the healthy aspect of life.
Yeah.
Like I know my limit on like portion sizes and stuff like that. You know, back in the day I was like, oh, yeah, whatever I want, I don't care. Keeping it off has definitely been hard. I mean, I fluctuate between like 5 and 10 pounds. Over the winter, it's when it gets really hard for me. But I mean, I'm honestly impressed I've kept the weight off like I have. But it is a constant struggle of keeping it off, wanting to eat, you know, like crap, but thinking, okay, like I really need to choose wisely. And it is a lifestyle change. You know, people who go on a diet, they think like, oh, I'll just diet for 6 months and magically lose all the weight and keep it off. And that's why you see like people who have lost a ton of weight will just gain it right back because they go back to eating and doing what they did before. And you really can't do that. And it's also nice having someone like Tim to kind of push me. Like, I'll be like, I don't feel like walking today. He's like, get your fat butt over here and come walk. Or something like that. He doesn't say that.
All right,
but
drill master.
Drill master. But relationship advice and weight loss advice.
We do the
He's like
same.
a life coach.
Pretty much. I mean, he kind of is like my personal psychologist, I guess you could say, or therapist rather. I text him like every day about like I talk to him more than I talk to my fiance.
Nice.
But I mean, we kind of I don't know. It's weird. It's just like that friendship of like we kind of keep each other and like.
So how did Karate Josh get thrown into the mix here?
Okay, so we work together. Well, we still do, but we used to work in different departments. We work at a dealership, and I used to work.
A Subaru dealership?
No, a Chevy dealership.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Mind blown again.
I wear my Subaru hat every day.
Backpacking in Ohio and works at a Chevy dealership? You should be Chevy Josh.
It doesn't have a ring to it though.
Get a Malibu.
Oh, I could not drive
Malibu
a Chevy.
Josh.
But
Subaru Josh sounds way better.
Oh yeah, sounds cooler. But I remember he got hired a couple months after I started working in detail, and he told me like how he used to bike and rock climb and stuff, and then so like we would talk about like our backpacking trips and stuff, and so he kind of like got into it. We started camping together, and then he got into the whole like he got like his first pack was like a Teton Sports pack or something like that, and so he slowly got into it, and excuse me. And then like now I'd say like he's probably more dedicated than I am. But his lifestyle, I mean, he's a very athletic person. I mean,
yeah, he looks like he could like look at me and it would knock me out.
he could break you in half with a finger probably.
Yeah, just like this and like I'm out.
Yeah, right.
He's probably the most in shape 30, I think he's what, 38, 39-year-old I've ever met.
39?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, you don't need bear spray when you have him.
As he would say, he'd probably shin kick it to the face or something.
Oh my god. Okay.
So when you go on backpacking trips now, do you? And I'm changing the subject. Sorry, but I'm really like inspired by your weight loss, and I like hearing about it. So like, do you find yourself making smarter decisions on like your food choices when you backpack?
That's a good question.
At first, not really, but then as I've kind of gone on these trips, I realize if I eat like total crap on the trips, then I feel like crap on the trail. And so I've tried to go toward less like sugary stuff and more to natural like energy, like nuts and like just fruits, like dried fruits and stuff. Because I was like eating like M&Ms and just candy bars and just junk. And then so I've kind of like transitioned over to more healthier snacks, but as far as dinners and stuff go, I just do whatever. I figure if I'm burning, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories a day, I can eat whatever I want. But I think like the snacks are definitely what I would consider to be like my more healthier side of backpacking food.
We were joking on the way up here. Kevin knows some nutritionists, and we were thinking like it'd be hilarious to just give them just a big trash bag full of like through hiker food and watch them pass out.
Yeah. Like, give us your actual critique on this. Like, what's the nutritional value of these honey buns?
Well, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one thing I think. What's interesting, you brought up low carb, and I've done low carb a little bit. I used to like do research on it at Ohio State, and I've always thought it's interesting trying to do low carb while backpacking. I've never done it, but like, I don't think it's feasible. Like, it'd be very difficult. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, and I think Tim will back me up on this, trying to diet while backpacking is stupid.
So we have a we've been requested to ask a question about telling a story about your first backpacking trip with Tim in the Smokies.
Okay, so our first trip, it's funny because, well, we won't go into the whole spiel, but we were supposed to go to Michigan, and we bailed on that because it was supposed to be too busy. And then we're like, well, let's go to Dolly Sod. So then it's supposed to rain. So then Tim plans this loop in the Smokies, and on a map it looks easy. It's nice and flat. And so, okay.
Did you notice the little lines? The little lines that were like really close together?
Yeah, see, I didn't know what that meant until we went to Utah.
Oh, the topo map lines?
I'm a terrible map reader, and so that's why Tim's always our navigator. But so, this is when we both first got into backpacking, and my pack was still like 40-some pounds. I had like 5 liters of water on me. And so, strike one. And so...
Not even kidding.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. And so, this trip was just the most grueling, hot trip. It was like 95 degrees during the day.
Yeah.
And then we were on this trail called the Hannah Mountain Trail. This thing was just like the longest trail, and it just was nonstop. Like, pretty much just, what would you call it? Just...
Ridge walk.
Ridge walking.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, it was hot. It was miserable. And then we lost it was just super hot. I had blisters the size of nickels on my toes. Ooh. It was just awful. And I remember the first night, this is a good one. It's just me and him in this backcountry campsite. It's the quietest, most eerie time I have ever camped in my entire life.
Is there like no ambient noise at all?
No, it was like you could hear the ringing in your ears.
I use a noise generator.
Yeah, we use noise generators when that happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I put it in my headphones. I'm like, I can't
we should have
do
done that.
Yeah.
But it was eerie, and of course, like there's always the thought of bears in the back of my head.
Yeah, and you just hear like a leaf break in half, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah, I know.
I had these Dutchware lights that I strung on my ridgeline.
Yeah.
I kept those on all night. I had my bear spray like locked and loaded, ready for a bear to come around. I had music in my ears. I'm like kind of scared. I'm like, this is so eerie. And so that was like just weird, like being in the middle of nowhere and just so quiet. Like it was just eerie. And then just going up Gregory Bald, it seemed bad at the time. Now, as a more experienced backpacker, it probably wouldn't be that bad. It was just never ending. It's like, is this ever going to end? You're going up these, you're pretty much going up these switchbacks, and like I was so tired. It was hot. My feet hurt. And then so the second night was a really nice campsite. We were next to a stream, so we had that noise. I remember I was just complaining the whole time, and I remember thinking like, Tim's never gonna want to backpack with me ever again. All I'm doing is complaining, and I was just whining, and it was awful. Like probably by far my least favorite backpacking trip. It was gorgeous, and because the azaleas were blooming on top of Gregory Bald, and it was gorgeous. But I remember just thinking like, I don't think I'll ever do that loop ever again. It was just the most boring, like. Hannah Mountain Trail was awful. So yeah, first backpacking trip together. I thought this was gonna be our last backpacking trip, and so
it's like this guy I've just met. We're gonna go backpacking stuff, and I'm never gonna talk to him again.
Yeah. So the story's cooler when you have a beer or two in you. But yeah, it was just a miserable for me. I know Tim liked it, but for me, it was just miserable. I hated every second of it.
But I think everybody has a few of those trips.
Has that been your most miserable trip? Like, has it just been better since then?
I would say. Yeah, that's by far my most miserable. Second would be Big South Fork in Tennessee with Jason Wish.
Yeah. Okay.
It was fun in the aspect that I got to hang out with Jason. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he is.
But as far as like the whole trip, I'm just like meh. And the first day was just pretty easy, flat hiking, wasn't anything bad. But the second day was just like awful. It was hot. The trail, we kept losing the trail. Big South Fork in general just was, for me, it was just meh. It just wasn't that great. For the views we got versus the effort, it just was not worth it. And I'd say that was probably my second least favorite trip. But we've always done pretty good about planning really fun, exciting trips, I think.
Yeah, but it's fine to have, and you look back on those rough ones, and you look back and you laugh about it, and it's like,
It's a good memory.
Yeah, we're glad.
Yeah.
I mean, even a crappy trip, it's still better than not going on it in some cases.
That's like people ask me about backpacking, and I say backpacking is like it's kind of thing where like there's things in life that are really fun while you do them, but they're not really memorable after you do it. Like going on a roller coaster or something. And backpacking is the opposite. Like it's really hard when you do it. You might not be enjoying it that much, but when you look back on it, Like, it's such a good memory. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about some of like our Ohio like August trips, like trails completely overgrown,
Terrible.
and you're just like going through the bushes like this.
We're selling them on Ohio Backpacking right now.
Right? Let's go tomorrow.
flicking ticks off you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing about Smokies was, he was all worried about these ticks. I'm like, I have been hiking my entire life, and I've never gotten one tick on me. And so we do this stream crossing, and that's when Tim lost his bear spray in this creek. And it wasn't a creek; it was like a raging river. And so I had to zip off, hiking pants. Looking back now, that's really nerdy. But
I have a pair too.
I prefer, and so I zipped them off, and we're hiking, and I just looked down. There's like 10 ticks on my leg, and it was, and there was one that was just dug into my shin. I'm just like trying to pull it out, and so after that, I'm like, so I was covered in ticks. So that was another thing. That's weird. It's another big thing. It just, it was miserable.
That's kind of like Isle Royal when you went in the water and you came out and you had leeches on you.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And I came out and I'm fine.
Nothing. Yeah.
I think I remember that. I watched you guys this whole Isle Royal.
Leeches
video.
are terrible. That's my only experience with leeches. I don't know if you've ever gotten them.
Nope.
But they have like an anticoagulant in them, so you just bleed constantly and like it inflames. It was terrible, actually. Looking back on it.
Lightning round?
Speed round.
Speed round.
Okay.
Can you handle a speed round?
Oh yeah. I can handle anything.
I gotta think of questions that we didn't ask Tim.
No, but the questions definitely apply. Okay, I'm starting out.
Go.
Favorite piece of gear?
Black diamond headlamp.
Ooh,
Least favorite piece of gear.
Or underutilized or something like that.
Oh man, I don't know. Probably. I use all my gear because I've cut out so much stuff. But I would say least favorite, or most like unused. I don't know. I wouldn't really say I have a least favorite. Although I was pretty mad when I popped my Xtherm.
Oh, I have an Xtherm. You popped yours?
I did in Michigan. So I was kind of mad that it took very little effort to pop it. So I'd say that probably might be it.
What zipper through it?
Okay.
Wait a second here. Wait.
That's a critical piece of information.
I'm glad we've got fact checker over here.
Okay, so I have
a camera on Tim.
Okay, here's the thing though. You would think a $230
I totally agree.
pad.
Totally agree.
I have a zipper on in like the pocket, the back pockets of my hiking pants, and I just knew. Like I sat down on my pad and scooted forward, and I felt like I heard this like
just cut it.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's weird. Like that's a weird noise. And then
followed by all this air going out of it.
I just hear like, where's that coming from? I check my valve, and I stand up, and there's a slit on my pad. I'm like, oh my gosh! And so it was. Yeah, that doesn't matter, but
what's your like dream piece of gear right now?
Oh man, these guys are asking me questions I haven't thought of in a while.
That's the point.
Probably.
Don't think too much. Just
the duplex.
Yeah.
Z-Pax duplex.
Yeah. A lot of people, as in one person, Bryce, said the duplex as well.
Yeah, Bryce did say the duplex. Yeah. Favorite mountain house?
Chicken and dumplings.
Ooh,
that's a good one. I like chicken and dumplings a lot too.
Favorite low carb snack?
Cheese.
Good call.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Favorite kind of cheese?
Ooh, I've been hooked on goat cheese lately. So I'm gonna go with goat cheese.
Oh, I freaking love goat cheese. He hates it.
It's too gamey.
Oh, it's so good.
It's delicious. It just has that punch. It's like, I put it on everything. I make 2 eggs for breakfast in the mornings, and I cover it in goat cheese, and that's my low carb breakfast.
What's your bucket list backpacking trip destination?
I have 2, JMT.
Okay.
And the CDT through Wyoming.
That's a nice section.
Are you ever going to be a thru hiker?
No, I don't think so. After doing 5 days in Utah, I think that's like my max. It's just.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It just after sleeping on the ground, I don't know. 4 nights is about my maximum, just because like I want to get back to civilization.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing. Me and my fiance have talked about maybe just quitting our jobs and selling everything and going and hike the Appalachian Trail, but I don't think I'll ever become a thru hiker.
So when you're on the trail and you're hitting like day 4, what kind of food do you start craving?
Oh, we talk about this constantly on our trips. Yeah.
Barbecue or
yeah.
breakfast foods. I'm a huge breakfast food fan, and so in Utah, all I could think about was pancakes. like every day I'm like, man, I just want pancakes. I just want
Yeah.
pancakes.
Mine's just pizza and beer.
Pizza and
Coffee.
beer are-
Coffee's another
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I always
like-
crave
like
coffee in the trail.
Nice, good coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Josh for coming and BSing with us.
the
Obviously,
backcountry.
in the backcountry. Obviously, check out his channel. We'll throw a link down in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll be BSing with more YouTubers coming up.
Yeah, we got a whole BS schedule ahead.
We
of
can
us.
BS a lot, so we'll be doing more of this. But thanks, and we'll catch everyone on the next one.